Controversy over whether transgender athletes should be allowed to compete against female competitors has been reignited. It comes after British TV personality Piers Morgan applauded a decision to ban trans women from taking part in international women's rugby, and his words certainly stirred debate.
How can there even be a debate about transgender women playing women's rugby? It's so obviously wrong, unfair, unequal and dangerous to women born to smaller, less powerful female biological bodies. We all know this. Women will get seriously hurt if this insanity prevails.
Piers Morgan is a hateful and a danger to the LGBTQIA community. He doesn't believe in equality and human rights for all, or he does, but he's paid to pretend not to, which is worse.
Piers, one problem with your opinion is that there are many trans women who likely produce much less testosterone than some cis women. So where do you go from there? Do you have to check everyone's testosterone to see if they're allowed to compete?
Well, this all comes after World Rugby, the sport's global governing body, ruled there were safety and fairness concerns about letting transgender athletes participate. It said women would be putting their health at risk competing against someone who was born male. Just to note, the new guidelines only apply at the international level, so regional and amateur organisations are not forced to abide by them. And that, in fact, this is exactly what happened in Britain, rugby's birthplace, which chose not to recognise the global body's ruling, saying it needs more scientific backing. Since transgender athletes were allowed in the 2004 Olympic Games, there have been a number of cases where trans athletes competing against women were disqualified or stripped, in fact, of their medals. So here at RT, we put the issue up for debate.
Lots of different athletes will have advantages because of various physical attributes. Why should we single out the potential advantages that trans women have while ignoring the other advantages that other women have? That is not fair.
They're men. They're biologically men, born as men, they're men. They've got a huge advantage over women. The people like the radical men's movement in the trans arm, the militant arm, they are trying to demean women and they are trying to devalue the female sport. It's unfair, it's wrong, and it shouldn't be allowed.
Trans women, there's no real scientific evidence that they have an advantage. What science there is disputed, and the degree of advantage is very minimal.
If you now put a man, biologically born man into female rugby, Piers Morgan is absolutely right this time, will get mass injuries. It's a ludicrous suggestion.
Of course there is a risk of injury, but there are rules, and also among non-trans rugby players, some are small, some are large. Already women are at risk of injury. This is quite an aggressive sport.
The World Rugby Union is against this. England, it's the English Rugby Union who are being really politically correct and saying it's okay, but not at international level. Up to international level, they're saying that this nonsense can carry on.
Verity Smith continued to play for Rotherham Ladies while transitioning to being a man.
What would you say to people who say in women's rugby it's dangerous?
I don't think it's dangerous. As I say, sport is for everybody. I've had to play women that are over a foot taller than me. I've had to play women that are a lot bigger size-wise than me. So why would it be a danger? We all go into sport, and rugby specifically, knowing it's a contact sport. And when you look at the international games, look at your scrum half, look at your second rows, over a foot and a half difference sometimes.
A recent Swedish university study suggests benefits for transgender women continued even after taking testosterone suppressants. Pressure groups say it's dangerous.
If we ignore the difference in strength between trans women and women, that will put women at risk in terms of safety on the pitch, as well as fairness in sport. So, you know, there's a worry here that people will be, necks will get broken, there'll be concussion issues. The safety issues for rugby are immense and we just can't ignore them.